All right, so we should be live on YouTube, Rumble, and Twitch now. Hey, Seth the Death. Enjoy being blocked. There you go. So, guys, if you want to participate in the conversation, come on over to YouTube. Come on over to YouTube where you can actually hear me and the guests talk, and we'll actually put your comments on screen. We'll be able to talk about it. So no, Seth doesn't have to worry about leaving. I just kicked him. That's all. But come on over to YouTube, Twitch, or Rumble. They're all free. Just look up Team FU Joe. Our live is going there. Stop stealing money. Who's stealing money? Thief. Who's stealing money? But yeah, you guys can come on over to YouTube. I'll be able to see your comments live. Hey, what's up, Moon? Moon is live over here. Let me do this here. I'm going to open up Rumble so I can see the comments from Rumble. Let's see. We'll join this live. There we go. Let me mute that. There we go. Okay. How did I hook it up like that? What do you mean? Hey, what's up, Rachel?
Hi.
Hello. Oh, you got the fire going in the background on the TV. I like it. So Moon came over from YouTube.
YouTube. Okay.
So she came over from YouTube. We got people here on the live. I'm waiting to have them come over from. So I have the TikTok live going as well.
Oh, you do?
So, yeah, but they're not going to be able to hear you. So I told them if they want to participate in the conversation, they got to come over to. Oh my God! Hold on one second.
To Rumble or Twitch.
Rumble, Twitch, or YouTube. You should debate You should debate the YouTube channel, The Crucible. I don't know the YouTube channel, The Crucible. Who is The Crucible? The Crucible. Let me see. I'm just taking a look. They are e-girls and simps. Harry is Christianity. They look like they talk about a lot of different stuff. So I'd have to take a look at them. Their channel looks very dark and serious. It looks very serious. I'm checking it out, Moon, I promise. So somebody on TikTok said those guys are insufferable. I mean,
they are.
Well, I mean, their channel is all like blood red colors and shit. Like it looks like a very creepy ass channel. Like it's not a channel that I would come across on YouTube and be
Are they Satanists?
I don't know. I mean, it's their videos are e-girls and simps, conspiracy theories, Christian nationalism. Looks like there's religion stuff, but yeah, they look weird.
I don't really take anybody who goes to extremes of religion seriously.
No, neither do I. So, no, but Mike, come on over to YouTube so we can actually have the discussion. Oh, Moon said, the owner is my friend. I can get you a debate. He says the owner is a Christian nationalist. Okay, I didn't know, Moon. I don't know anything about them. It's like, but if he's a Christian nationalist, like Nazi, that
debate with him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'd have to look at some of his videos. No, I'm not taking guest requests on TikTok. You got to come over to YouTube where you can join the conversation. So the top, I was just curious. You said Christian nationalist. I don't, that term is thrown around a lot. I didn't know what you meant by that. So let's see. So the topic tonight is, why are modern men and women, why do we seem to be at war with each other? Because it seems like every other TikTok video is about we hate women or we hate men. Men need to step it up. Women need to be like, it's just rhetoric against each other, it seems like. So the question is, why? Why do you think?
Me?
Yes, you. You're the guest on the show.
Do with men and women not understanding the way one another thinks and trying to impose their thought processes and the way the world works for them on the opposite gender. And I think the origin of that is the lack of gender specific. I can never say that word. But the lack of, I guess, everything going on in the world where we have all these ways to identify your gender. I know it sounds messed up of me to say, because it's not that I don't support transgendered people or if a boy wants to be a girl or whatever. I think it just comes from people pushing modern feminism and pushing gender identity and gender roles on other people. So now each sex thinks that the other sex should think the way that they do, which is never going to happen. It's just not the way it works.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Sorry, one second. Maddie, you got to come over to YouTube. That's where we're doing the discussion, because I have a guest on. We're talking back and forth. You can't hear her unless you come over to YouTube. Rumble,
there's a really good example of this that I heard from a podcaster. I can't remember his name right now, but it really sums it up. And so in one of the very basic things you hear people arguing about on TikTok is, body count and sex and all that kind of stuff. And when it comes down to it, it really just is that men and women think so differently about it. Like, women will only have sex with a guy usually that they like, right? Most of the time women are making decisions. Sorry, Raven's going nuts with her toy.
Mm-hmm.
So women will have sex with men that they like, and men will have sex with women whether or not they like them.
Well, but that's not really true from a guy's side. So, like, I know that's
a lot of
no, but I know it's a perception.
No, there is legitimately plenty of men on the planet that will have sex with a woman who they have absolutely zero interest in.
No, and that they will not have sex with them they'll have sex with them if they don't have relationship interest. If they don't, but there's an attraction there. It's a sexual attraction to them for that night. Yes, they're not looking for a relationship with them. I
legitimately met plenty of men that will sleep with a woman and then turn around the next day and talk about how she's an ugly fucking slut.
Yes.
And make fun of her.
Because they regret having sex with her.
Yeah, you don't like or respect someone that you can say that about. If you can go and have sex with someone and the next day you can talk absolute trash about them, you never liked them.
No, but you put two things in there. You said they don't like or respect them.
Right.
They don't respect them.
Let's get respect out of it.
Yeah, respect.
You don't like someone if you go in the next day and you make fun of them and talk trash about them.
No, they didn't like them as a person, but they liked having sex with them.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Women will not have sex, for the most part, women will not have sex with men who they don't like as a person, whereas men
I highly disagree. I highly disagree. Yeah, but I'm telling you from a guy. Hold on. I told you from a guy's point of view. You sat here and told me, no, you're wrong. This is the point.
But you agree with me. You agree that men will have sex with women who they don't really like.
And women will have sex with guys they don't really like.
No, that's not true.
Yes, they will. Then why? Like, you recognize these fuckboys. You recognize fuckboys right off the jump, and you still fuck these pieces of shit.
Yes, but just because he's a fuckboy doesn't mean what happened. We lost our host, I guess.
Sorry, for some reason I must have clicked something that bumped me out of the studio.
So you're confusing a woman.
There you go. Catherine said, I know lots of women who have sex with guys they don't like as people. It happens.
Right, but I'm talking about in mass quantities.
No, but again, when we're talking about people doing that, like the mass quantity, there isn't the fact that guys, that's not the reason why we have trouble with each other, is that guys are sleeping with people they don't like and women aren't. Like,
that's not what I said.
But again, pieces of shit.
What I said.
But again,
it doesn't matter, because I'm never going to get to the point. I'm never going to get to finish what I'm trying to say, so it doesn't matter. Just forget it.
Okay. But look, pieces of shit do pieces of shit things. Whether you're a piece of shit woman, a piece of shit man. Because if you are sleeping with somebody that you don't like, you are a piece of shit.
Yeah,
like, we can agree.
That wasn't the point that I was
Okay,
getting.
then what was your point?
The point that I was getting at is that women and men don't think the same in the context of relationships, sex, dating, whatever. And the problem and the reason men and women are constantly arguing and fighting is because they're trying to argue their point from their own point of view and thinking that the other sex should be thinking the way that they think. And it's just not the way it works biologically, societally. Like, it's just not the way it works culturally.
No, but I get that. I get that we think differently. But what I had an issue with was the idea that men, what the fuck am I blue to you? Do I look like a fucking Smurf right now?
Well, your room's blue. You're not blue.
Yeah, but I look like a fucking Smurf right now. But anyway, my point is that the issue between men, and I get that one gender thinks that the other gender should think like they do, right? But I think the problem comes into play is that women have started acting like men. Women have started taking on all the worst traits of all the worst men, and they're thinking that we have to like that. Or
have you ever contemplated why it is women have started acting like men?
Yeah, sure.
And what would that reason be?
Well, because they see it's got men to where they are. Like, men, rule the world, as they say. Men have control, and it's because they acted like that.
Because they think that they'll accomplish more.
Yes, but again, there are things women can adopt about guys. Like, as far as, getting into STEM fields, things like that, and focusing on education, focusing on their career, totally get those things.
Do you think it has anything to do with the cultural the cultural shift we have made to emasculate men?
Yes, and because our culture doesn't value masculinity anymore. And
so now women cannot be feminine because the majority of men do not behave masculine. But I don't. Vice versa, because a woman who is extremely masculine is emasculating to a man. So
yes, but I kind of disagree on that in a sense. I disagree in the sense that I don't think that the majority of men are not acting masculine. I think the people that are pushed in the media are making it look like we don't have masculine men. The problem where it comes from a relationship standpoint is that a masculine man, it isn't that we care, like a woman successful in her career, because women always say that thing, men are scared of successful independent women. No, we're not. First of all, that we just don't care. Like, if I'm with you, right? You're successful in your career, you do your own thing, you're independent as hell. That doesn't bother me. What would bother me is if I was asked to take on the feminine role, right? If I was said, oh, because you're successful, I need to take on the feminine role in the relationship. And once you do that, it's not a matter of it being emasculating. It's a matter of, that's not what I want for my life.
Okay, so let me ask you this. You're in a partnership. You have a woman who's successful and independent, but also a feminine woman. How do you define the role of masculinity in the relationship? How do you define what makes you as a man the masculine one? What are the things that you do and bring to the table that make you the masculine one? And what are the things that she does that makes her the feminine one?
Well, it really depends on the dynamics of the relationship, because when women claim to be independent women, they're strong, independent women. Generally, they just mean that they're an adult. Like, that's really what they mean. They mean, oh, I have my own job, I have my own car, I got my own place, I pay my own bills. That's just being a fucking adult. Like, that's nothing to be like rah cheer about, right? Like, a man doesn't celebrate the fact that he makes $40,000 a year and has a place and has a car. That's just being a fucking adult. But a woman's standard. But I asked you. But that's what I mean when you say a successful woman. What do you mean by that?
I would say successful in the way that without you, she still can provide herself the life that she wants. Like,
Yeah, so she's an adult.
no, adulting and being successful are two very different things.
But that's why I'm asking you, like, what do you mean? Because when you say, because here's the thing,
she can provide the life that she wants for herself. That's very different from just provide herself basic life. Successful women can go on vacation and not expect someone to pay for it.
That's an adult. That's the adult men. Like, we do that as adults. Like, no guy becomes an adult and goes, you know what? I'm expecting somebody else to pay for my vacation. But that's the standard that women have set up because they attain the basics of being a man.
Can't afford to go on vacation or do anything for themselves. So what I'm saying is there's adulting and then there's being successful. Successful is a person who's able to attain the things that they want beyond what they need.
But again, most people, of course, like downturn.
Most people in general cannot say for themselves that they are consistently able to attain the things that they want beyond what they need.
No. But the problem with
successful in adulting.
But the problem with that is American society, where we want everything. It's like, but the average man in America makes $55,000 a year. Right? Depending on where you live, you can very easily live a comfortable life, take vacations, and enjoy yourself on that. Right? And that's what the average man makes in America. So when you say that most men can't provide beyond their basic needs, that's just not true.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes,
most men are able to afford their lives and be able to do the things they want. Granted, they can't do everything they want. They can't take a weekend trip to Paris at random, but they're still taking vacation. There are families being raised.
My age? No, not most men. Maybe at your age.
Yes, at my age, you're right. 20 something, because in your 20s you build debt, in your 30s you build life.
I consider myself far more successful than almost all of the men I have met in my age range. I have never met a man the same age as me that could afford to take himself on a European vacation.
But see, me, when I was in my late 20s, everybody I was friends with had that money. That's because
you come from a group of six. You are a successful man who surrounded him with successful people. Like I said, most people are not successful. You just happen to fall into that category.
And I think you've happened to have the negative stereotype of being around a bunch of broke ass bitch dudes.
No, that's just the average person.
No, the average man in America makes $55,000 a year.
That's not enough to go on vacation for 2 weeks.
But again, not everybody takes 2-week vacations. Like, growing up, I grew up poor. We still took vacation. We went down for a week to Disney World from Philly.
In today's economy, a person making $55,000 a year is making roughly, saying they don't have children, after taxes, less than $3,000 a month.
Yes.
The average rent right now in a place where I live, the average rent is $1,895. The average car insurance for someone with no accidents is $220.
Yep.
Food is on average $100 to $150 a week.
Yeah, but where we live is expensive.
Almost done. The person making $55,000 a year is just basics. They're just surviving. They're living paycheck to paycheck, unless they were fortunate or smart enough to have bought a house before today's rental economy, and then now they have a very low mortgage so that they can have extra money. But if a person is in their late 20s paying these rent prices, paying these living expenses, $55,000 is the new $35,000.
Yes, but we also live in Florida. We live in a town that has 72 beaches within a 10-minute drive. We live in one of the nicest places in the entire country. There are like 35 states in the middle of this country that don't have beach access.
Yeah,
I'm going to finish. That don't have beach access, that don't have boating, that don't have things like that. So when you say, yes, the majority, if you're earning $55,000 a year in Tampa, yeah, it's not easy. It's not an easy life. But if you're earning $55,000 a year in West Virginia,
the national
Alabama,
average rent, $1,686.
Yes, because
that's not far off from what I.
We're also taking the most heavily populated areas of the U.S.
People who live in places where no one wants to fucking live in the middle of nowhere.
Yes, that's where you live if you're broke.
Call them successful because of where they live.
Yes.
Okay, that's like a completely beside the point.
No, but it's not. But it's not. The thing is that we're trying to define what you define as successful. That's all the question was.
Well, then we'll go with.
So how much? No, let me ask you. Look, I'm not going to argue. Let me ask. What does somebody have to make to be considered successful?
Well, are we going with? Am I having to average out demographics?
Oh my God, stop. We're not getting into this argument about that. I'm asking you based upon your standards. What does somebody have to, I'm going to finish. According to your standards, what does somebody have to make for you to consider, here in Tampa, what does somebody have to make to be considered successful? Okay, fine. It's fine. But no, because you were setting the standard of what was successful and what wasn't. So according to your standard, what does somebody have to make to be successful?
I would believe to go beyond basic necessities and actually have a life where you can go out and spend a little bit of money here and there without worrying about it, not on credit, that you need to be making $75,000 to $80,000 a year.
So the only successful people in this country, according to you, are in the top 20% of earners.
That's not what I said.
That's not what I'm saying.
Me in Tampa, in this area.
No, okay, so
I consider success.
Okay, but what I'm saying is that $75,000 a year, that would put you in the top 20% of earners, and that's fine. I'm okay with using that as a definition of success. It allows us to have the discussion. Yeah, that allows us to have the discussion.
Then you're not successful if you're not in the top 20% of earners.
But here's where the problem comes into play in earning, right? Because a guy who's earning, let's just say a successful guy, he's making $75,000 a year, right? Now he can afford to take care of the necessities. He can afford to do what he wants in life. He can take vacations, right? That's what we're looking for as far as success. Now, the problem is, and again, maybe this is not a problem on women. This is a problem of the dynamic that I'm trying to sort out, right? Is that a guy who's successful doesn't care about the income range he dates, right? He's not worried about it. He'll date
depends on how successful.
No, but a guy, again, we're just talking your definition.
What's your definition of successful? Because by that statement, that's inferring that a guy who makes $70,000 a year would be okay with a woman who doesn't have a job or make any money, which actually he's successful for himself, but he can't afford to pay her whole way.
Well, actually, most families in the U.S. get by on less than $60,000 a year as a family.
That those families aren't out on fucking vacations to Macono.
No, I'm with you. But my point is that making $80,000 a year, let's say $80,000 a year,
as a single man, I would consider you successful.
Okay, and then so what would you consider a guy in a relationship to be making to be successful? But that's the thing is that from a guy's point of view, and I know this seems weird because I know your answer immediately when I said, well, a guy doesn't care about the income range of a girl. What you have to understand is that when a guy is successful as a single person, we honestly do not pay any attention to what the girl makes.
Right. But so what you're asking is a hard question to answer because we're saying a single man, a successful single man, $80,000 a year, I would say is fair for a successful single man. Okay. Well, that's still the same if he gets into a relationship. But if you want to go by gender role standards where we're going to say he doesn't care about what she makes because he can just provide for and take care of her.
No.
He can't do that at
No. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is
still successful, but that doesn't mean
what I'm saying is that I'm not saying that he can. What I'm saying is that the guy that is earning $80,000 a year, his dating pool, the people he is interested in, is not in any way affected. Now, of course, the long-term relationship is going to be affected by income. There's going to be a lot of fights about money, right? If that's happening, if she's unemployed, he's making 80 grand, they live in Tampa, holy shit, there's going to be a lot of discussions about money. I'm talking about, hold on. I'm talking about the dating pool, right? The dating pool for that guy, he doesn't care. However, on the woman's side, they've shown through studies that women that are successful, women do not want a man who they only want men who are at their level or above it.
I would be hard pressed to say that there's a man out there who makes $70,000 a year and he's out there like, oh, I'll date a woman who doesn't have a job or make money and I'll pay for all her stuff. That doesn't exist.
Reality, that's guys in the chat.
No, it's not.
Help me out here. Help me out here. When you make money, have you ever, regardless of what you made, have you ever cared what the woman made? Because we don't. I know it sounds stupid.
So you're telling me I can go out and I can find a guy that makes $80,000 a year, no problem, and he will pay for my house, my dogs, my car, my food. He'll pay for my hair, my nails, my vacations, my concerts. At $80,000 a year, I'm going to go out there and find that guy, and he's going to spend all his money on me and pay for everything for me.
No, because all the things
then
you
he
just
does
made,
care if I have
the thing is, if you want all those things, he can provide for you. You want all this other shit. Now you're just being greedy.
So you're telling me then I can go out and find a guy who will be okay with providing a home necessities, a home, a food, and a vehicle for me on his $80,000 a year salary.
Yes.
And he'll do that. No problem. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, at 30 years old, never in my life have I ever had a man willing to fucking pay for my car, my food, and my house. It's never happened to me. Ever.
Okay, but
maybe I'm dating the wrong people.
Yes, absolutely.
I've never in my life had someone offer to provide for me. In fact, every man I've ever dated, I either made more money than, or I paid equal bills with them.
No, but I'll put it to you this way. Let's say me and you when me and you moved to Dallas.
It was 50-50 split. You're cut out. Your audio's cut out. I don't know what happened, but. Still can't hear you. Did you accidentally mute yourself in the StreamYard platform by chance?
Can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm. You're good.
Good. So, but here's the thing. When we moved to Dallas, if your job had said you're fired, right? What would have changed would have been the size of place that we got. Because if we were basing it on my income alone, I still wouldn't have had a problem with it. The size of place we got would have changed. It would have been smaller. The amount of times we'd gone out would have been less. The amount of things we did would have been less. But I wouldn't have had a problem with it at all.
I don't want to use you and I as an example because I wholeheartedly disagree with you based on a specific conversation that we had about me not making enough money when I could be making more. So we're not going to have you and I.
No. Hold on. But the thing is, that discussion had nothing to do about with what you earned. That discussion had to do about with what you were capable of.
Yes, I wasn't accomplished enough for you.
Yes, we were having a terrible argument, and I was being a total smartass. But the point is that when you say, "Oh my God, it's stupid for guys to think that way," it's stupid for guys to think.
I didn't say it was stupid. I just don't know that I have not personally experienced or seen this plethora of men running around willing to provide.
No. The thing is, it's not. But again, we're not walking around with a sign saying we'll provide. You got to fucking earn that. If we're gonna provide everything, you got to be fucking amazing.
No, because I don't agree with that at all. Men either can or they can't.
No, that's no. That's you got to qualify.
You're not going to tell me that women are going to go out there and find a guy who can fully provide for her, and then they're going to have to, for whatever amount of time, a year or 2 years, prove they're worthy of it. That's not the way men's brains work. Because
yes, it is.
When men know that they can attain a woman who they really, really want by providing for her, via money, they go with that pretty much right off the bat because they
that's what
everyone else.
No, that's what weak men do. That you've had a lot of experience with bitch ass dudes. Like, because that's what weak men do. Weak men lead with the money. Weak men go in and they go, you'll like me because I make a lot of money. No,
I'm not talking about the second date, but I'm talking about like a couple months in.
No, but even a couple months in, most men, if they see you are a fit that is going to bring them peace and happiness in their life, we will make horrible financial decisions because we want to support you. We do that. That's how men think. You're not going to tell me how men think. I've been a man for 38 years.
I'm not arguing with you on how men think. I just
like Jeep and Treetop said, I provided solely for my family for 25 years. What did you make when you committed to providing solely for your family? When you first decided I'm going to provide for my family, what were you making? And was it a good financial decision? Because I'm going to bet it wasn't. Because men will be like, look, I make $30,000 a year. I'll take care of you. And here's what Kenny said. I mean, here's what Jeep said. Exactly.
That's not possible though.
No, but we will do everything in our power to make it work.
All right, well then maybe I have a biased opinion.
He made 40K.
I have not personally ever experienced. Most of the men that I've met can't even fucking pay a utility bill on time. But
can we agree? But hold on, wait. You've dated older as well, right? You've dated older and younger, and around your age group, right?
All the way from 22. To be honest, the 22-year-old was the most financially responsible. All the way up to 45.
Okay, now
45-year-old that I dated was very, very wealthy. He did actually. I was in school at the time that I dated him. He paid for almost everything for me. I didn't ask for it, and it was after a few months of us dating, and he saw that I was working on the weekends. I was working during the week. I was going to school, and he was very wealthy. And he wanted to marry me, and he proposed. So he did take care of me financially, fully because he was able to. And
no. Because he was 45, that's what he had to offer. Because he was 45 and lonely, that's what he had to offer.
No, he was a world-renowned DJ with plenty of options, and
but that's what he has to offer. Like a DJ, what he has to offer as a 45-year-old man is his ability to provide. Like that's what he has to offer.
No, he actually had much more to offer beyond.
And by the way, Jeep said he made $40,000 a year in Chicago when he took over, supported the family. Because men will make terrible financial decisions in order to take the stress off the woman. We will. It's stupid. Women financially, y'all are
the one guy that was the 40.
Yeah, but women financially, y'all are significant. Y'all make long-term smart decisions. Men make decisions based in the moment of our happiness of like, okay, if she needs this, even though I'm probably going to have to work 80 hours a week to even come close to making her happy, we'll do that. It's stupid. It's absolutely idiotic on our part, but we'll fucking do it. And Kenny said, I pay everything for a 2-bedroom house.
And all of my dating experience in my entire life, I've only ever met, or I shouldn't say met, given the chance to.
Right.
One man who was like wanted to provide, like had that mentality, had his own house, had everything paid for, made financial decisions that were responsible. I've never experienced anyone else that could provide for me fully.
Yeah, but how many men in that middle ground have you given a chance to?
Well, I've been monogamous.
No, but I mean you've dated the younger stupid guys.
I've had 6 serious relationships.
But my point is that that's how guys think. And you may look at it and go, that's fucking retarded. Totally agree with you. We are fucking retarded when it comes to love.
Bad choices on the people who I've decided to date.
But again, you're still very, very young. Like you're still quite fucking young. So it isn't like you have to understand is you started dating what, 10 years ago?
Correct.
10. So you have 10 years. So you're talking about you've been dating for about 30% of your life. Like that's not a or 33.3 repeating percent of your life. Like that's not a lot of time. And because you're a serial monogamous, you're always focused on a relationship. You have also the amount of people you could have dated is a much larger number.
Maybe I should have dated more people then and gone out there and saw what was really out there. Because from my personal experience, men being able to provide for me is a fucking joke.
But hold on, Moon. I will tell you. So Moon asked this question: how materialistic is she? How much is it supported? I will tell you that she is speaking from a side that's not really her. She's not very materialistic. She does not cost a lot to support. She does not need the finer things in life. I mean, she's happy to have them. Don't get me wrong. Like if I was a multimillionaire, she'd be like, yes, I will get the Bugatti. But you know, the thing is like I remember when we lived here in Tampa. Like when we lived here in Tampa, I asked her what her dream car was, and she told me a fucking Subaru. And I was like, holy shit, I'm dating a lesbian.
So I actually have a bit of a guilt. I grew up extremely poor. I'm talking, there was 18 people in a 3-bedroom house. I'm Cuban. My family came from Cuba.
You know how they roll.
I'm first generation American. We would make picadillo out of yuca leaves because it was too expensive to buy meat. We ate ramen noodles. You know, we found all these fancy ways to make ramen noodles. So I actually am extremely frugal, and I have a guilt complex about spending large amounts of money on materialistic items.
Yeah. And just so you know, Kenny, I get that from a guy's point of view. I dated a multimillionaire, and I was still expected to pay for everything. Like it's weird, the dynamic of it. But honestly, if she had paid for everything, I would have felt uncomfortable. Like because of my own masculine insecurities about that, I would have felt uncomfortable about it.
You want another phone?
It's a weird thought process. It's less about the money we provide and more about the feeling of being able to provide it.
I'll be right back. I'm going to give the dogs the phones.
Okay. But yeah, it's like, for guys, it is way less about our ability to actually provide. Like we could be terrible providers, but it's our ability to try. Like that's more than we want of anything is to try to be. Holy shit, you are beating up those bones. Yeah, Kenny.
Frozen together. Emma, come here.
Right, like you said, Kenny, same, right? I mean, that's the way it is for guys. Like we will make that terrible financial decision. We'll be making 50 grand a year, and we'll be like, of course you don't have to work. Of course you could stay home and take care of the kids, and I will work and take care of it. It's the dumbest financial decision ever. We're idiots for thinking that way, but we don't. Guys, when they say guys think with their dick, we do. Like in the worst ways and in the best ways. In the best ways, in the worst ways, in the sense that we will be led by our dick to the worst woman ever.
I honestly, from this conversation, think maybe the majority of people that I dated actually didn't like me at all. Then
no, it's not that they didn't like you. It's that they didn't have a perception of long term. Like, and younger people tend not to. Like when I, it's hard to have that. And then Catherine said, girl, me too. I totally struggle with spoiling myself. It's why I enjoy a strong masculine man who will happily indulge me.
I have wanted to get my nails done for over a month, and I haven't gone to get my nails done because I feel like it's ridiculous to spend $80 to one trip to the nail salon. That is how much I struggle with thinking and feeling like materialism is a wrong choice in life.
But hold on, I want to let you respond to Jeep here, because I think your opinion and your thought process is better served for him. Jeep, Jeep's a guy, so I want you to respond to him. Here's the comment. There you go.
What did he say? Trouble finding a person who will just accept a guy for who they are. Well, that is because the women that you're going after are the opposite of what we're talking about. The women that you're going after, you're not realizing the red flags of a woman who is looking for something from you rather than just looking for you.
And then he said, he said this. But no, not that.
Send me your PayPal.
He said, no. Jeep said, what happened to chivalry? Feminism killed it. That's what happened to chivalry. But just so you know, Catherine wants your PayPal for the damn nails.
So, here's the thing about the nail thing. I see on TikTok all the time, like these girls are like, he needs to pay for my nails and blah, blah, blah. And I'm shocked because I've never in my life ever asked a man to pay for my nails to be done. I've had men offer because they thought it was a nice thing to do, but I've never been like, hey, can I get some money to go get my nails done?
Yeah, but I think that's a problem is that not a problem for you, right? But a problem for the conversation because you're not a feminist cunt. Like, like we have to find like a feminist cunt to get on. I know
but
you
I'm
hate that
also
word,
not hyper traditional.
Yes, you are. You're very traditional.
No, I guess if I was traditional, I would expect that a guy should pay for my whole life, right?
That's not how it. That's not how it.
Out some babies and stay at home.
That's not how a traditional woman thinks. You're traditional in the sense that you're looking for a man. You're not looking for a man to support you. You're looking for a man to complete you. You're looking for a man to be everything you're not in life and take on that.
I wouldn't say that.
No, you're looking for a man to take on a traditional masculine role,
which is almost impossible to find.
I get what you're saying, but I'm saying that's what men view as traditional.
I want to go back to his question though, where he said that he keeps running into women that are kind of like basically looking for like what they can give to him. A person that will date.
You mean what they can get from him?
So he's saying that the person will just accept them for who they are. So I think everyone goes through that. I don't think that's a male only problem. I think a lot of people go out into the world thinking that it's okay to try and shape and mold someone into the person that they want them to be. And so what I'm saying is I think a lot of people go through that. So just know that you're not the only person experiencing that. And a really good way to immediately like realize someone is that doing that to you is they will right off the bat like make little suggestions about things that you do that they don't like, or they'll try to nudge you. And I don't mean in like little ways where they're just like, see you have a bad habit. I mean like, a woman who's trying to get you to change the way you dress or things like that. Like for instance, I've dated some guys with some really fucking bad style. Okay, I'm talking cargo shorts every day, all day, and flip-flops with the toenails like an inch longer than the toe. And of course, for me, I was like cringe, like fuck, like so I might have made a little mention here, like here and there, like like your toenails are gonna slice me open at night. But like what I'm saying is, I never in my life have asked a guy not to wear his army print cargo pants. Even if I was just like, that's not really like a swag I'm into, he's comfortable in the way he dresses. And that's what makes him happy. He doesn't feel like he needs to dress any other way. And I'm not with this man to dictate to him how you
don't want to fuck with his confidence for your happiness.
I never in my life have ever attacked a man's confidence.
No,
so
but I
man is saying things to you that make you feel less confident. Boom, goodbye.
But
partner gassing you up, and that's it.
I want to answer this comment from Catherine. She said, I think acting entitled is really off-putting to traditional men. It is. And that's not just traditional men. You have to understand is that acting entitled, if there is one thing a woman could do that will turn a man off, is acting entitled. Like that is the number one thing because men want to provide. But here's the problem. Everything we want to provide for you, right? Everything we want to provide for you, everything we want to do for you, everything we want to support you in, we want to feel that we are going above and beyond by doing that, right? So if you feel entitled to it, now for us to feel like we're being good men, we have to go above and above and above, and there's no pleasing you at that point. So it creates you're moving the goalposts so fast when you act entitled. Because we recognize all the things that we would do for women. Like we'd offer to pay for her nails. We get to send her for a manicure when she's having a bad day. We all these little things that guys do. Who does
that?
I have sent you for massages and manicures. Don't you even start that shit. You had a terrible week. And I sent you for a massage.
I paid for my own massage membership. I have the bill on my credit card.
You paid. Yes, you started paying for that because you wanted to go visit your big buff boy at the massage parlor a lot. But I sent you to that massage parlor because you had a terrible week.
For my birthday. You got
No. I got you. I got you.
Talk about us.
I got you the second, the other massage place for your birthday. The first one I sent you to, you weren't a fan of. You were not a big fan of. But the second one with I hope I don't remember. Is it Brian? It's not Brian. Andrew, of course you remember his name. Anyway, so the thing is that when women act entitled, all those things that we would normally do to show you that we care, now you're just expecting those things. So when we think about what we have to do to make you happy, now we're like, all right, she wants everything under the sun. And that's not a happy place to be for a guy.
Can I tell you, though, from a woman's perspective, a lot of women out there see these women who have these terrible attitudes, who are totally entitled, getting everything they have ever wanted from a guy, and the nice girls out there who are not behaving like that are getting overlooked and not paid attention to and not getting the things that they want. Most of the women that I know that get spoiled rotten are fucking disgusting people.
Yes. Yep.
And so what women who are not that way see the world around them and go, oh, well, I guess if I act like a fucking terrible cunt, I might actually get a guy to treat me the way that, like, getting spoiled or like a princess.
But see, this is perfect. This is perfect because you talk about how all the guys you encounter are not these good men who want to do things and take care of you, right? All the women let me finish. But all the women we meet are those entitled bitches. Like, because it's like, I think each gender is putting their worst foot forward. We're being represented by the worst of us.
I mean, it makes sense, though, because if you continuously go into the world putting your kindness and your best foot forward and being empathetic and not being jaded, and you get just stepped on, why wouldn't you eventually at some point, and this is what being jaded is, go out there and just be like, fuck everybody, I'm gonna just do me and get what I want, and I'm done caring about. And
but I think people are getting jaded earlier.
But that is literally where the birth of the fuckboy begins. And it's always, a fuckboy always has a story about some girl who cheated on him or broke his heart, and now he goes out in the world and he treats all the women like they're worthless.
Yeah, but just like every fuckboy has an excuse, every fucking hoe has an excuse.
I totally agree.
That's what I mean, is we are being represented in the dating world by the worst of us.
Catherine, right? But most men these days are not, they don't even know where to begin on being masculine.
No, but the problem is that most young men right now are being taught that being masculine is a problem. Like, you're wrong for being masculine. That's where somebody like Andrew Tate, like, look, I don't agree with everything Andrew Tate says. But if I actually listen to him sit down and have a full conversation with somebody who's not fresh and fit little bitch ass boys, because that's what the people on Fresh and Fit are. They are fucking horrible human beings who hate women, right? But when he sits down and has an actual conversation with a grown ass man, the things he says make sense, because he is one of those people who says, like, he's like, I'm above having to worry about other shit. He is. He's insanely rich. He doesn't have the concerns that normal. No, even if he's not rich, his brother is fucking insanely rich.
I'm waiting for the fucking Fire Festival documentary to come out.
No, but the thing is that the things he talks about is really telling men that they need to ignore all the bullshit and act like fucking men. Now, he does carry it too far and acts like a fucking, the guy obviously isn't the biggest fan of women. It's like, that's fucking obvious. But a lot of the rhetoric he puts out is just about men acting like men, which society tells us we're not supposed to be. Society tells us that being masculine is a problem. And the problem is that they don't speak for women, because I think most of you women want that.
My question earlier, I directly asked you, what are the traits that make a man masculine? You never answered that.
So the traits that make a man masculine, more than anything, is being secure in who he is. Being secure in every flaw he has, being secure in everything he sees as a plus on his side, and not caring what other people think of that. Like, if I'm a blue collar worker who has to work 80 hours a week to have a good life, I'm secure in doing that. I'm secure in the fact that I'm, the guys that are chubby and are like, you know what, fuck it, I got a dad bod. It's amazing. It's a father figure, whatever you want to call it. It's not the guys who are like a little overweight and they're insecure about it. A real man isn't insecure about anything about himself.
Okay, but everything you're talking about is based in the ego. I'm talking about what are the actions of a masculine man.
So the actions of a masculine single man is
talking about
but he has to be a single man first, right? So
I like
he
both.
Yeah. So as a single man, being a masculine is being comfortable with who you are and not having to lie. When you go in to talk to somebody, when you meet somebody, you are not afraid to talk about who you actually are. You're not going to pretend things. You don't have to create some air of fakeness about you. You are who you are. And if you're a lowly salesman making 20 grand a year, you're a blue collar worker making 40 grand a year, you're a banker making 150 grand a year. It doesn't matter. You are comfortable with who you are, and you are looking for somebody who wants that, right? Because a secure masculine man isn't looking for a woman to get to be with him because of who he pretends to be. He's looking for a woman who likes him as he is. Right? That's a secure masculine man. Now, a secure masculine man in a relationship is a man who delivers on everything he promised he would be. Like when he said, I'm going to work fucking 80 hours a week to take care of this family. That man fucking works 80 hours a week. He doesn't bitch about the fact that he has to work overtime. He doesn't complain about it and say, oh, if you get a job, this would be easier. No, he goes and does what he promised you he was going to do. So it's all committed in what he says.
Correlates to providing is what you're saying.
Not so much providing, like just delivering on it. Like whatever I promised you, follow through. Exactly. Follow through. Follow through, I think, is the best way to put it.
That's a huge issue for the majority of single men in the world, that they not only don't know how to follow through on their own aspirations, their own goals, their own dreams, the things that they tell themselves, but then
real quick, I think this is a perfect question for you.
Can us girls say what we view as masculine traits? I mean, I can, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
As Joe said, follow through, transparency and follow through is huge. I would not consider a guy to be like a full-grown masculine man if he cannot deliver on the things that he promises. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't necessarily say financial providing, because I think in today's world, men and women have equal opportunity to earn. So I don't really put financial providing in there, but what I would say is providing a safe space, a opportunity to be able to discuss those kinds of roles without ego being involved. I think a truly masculine man is not led by ego.
Speaking of roles,
not to mention society today is their gender roles. Everything is
By the way, she misspelled roles, and everybody had fun with it in the chat. They were like, sounds delicious.
Yeah.
But keep going.
I was in the middle of a train of thought. I can't remember what I was going to say.
Oh,
I got my charger really quick for my iPad.
Oh, is it dying? You probably used it all day for work.
Yeah, sorry. One thing about me is I have severe ADHD, so if you interrupt me in a train of thought, like, I'm never going to get back to where I was.
Well, we were talking about what women view as the masculine traits, and you gave a great description of it. You talked about... What's up?
I wasn't done.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's why I was trying to get you back on track. So what you talked about was a man having follow through. You said it wasn't focused on financial. It's not so much the guy being able to deliver financial, but so you were going along those lines of a man actually delivering on what he says he's going to do.
Right.
Again, not being material about it. Well, Moon says loyal, honest, protect, and provide.
I honestly think being a masculine man has to do with leadership, and a lot of men who I would say are emasculated look to the woman to lead the relationship. And while it's true that women dictate the pace and a lot of things in a relationship, I think a masculine man should be able to recognize when the relationship is off course, and then being masculine is taking action, right? So feminine qualities are more to kind of receive and and be open and be empathetic. And masculine qualities are to notice when there's something that needs attention and needs to be fixed, and to provide a course of action for that.
So go ahead.
I would just say in a relationship, the biggest masculine quality is a man who recognizes when things are not going in the correct direction and knows how to pay attention, catch those things, and redirect them before it's totally off course. I, as a woman, am not looking to lead a relationship because that would have me in complete masculine energy.
But just to say, so when you said a guy that course correct, that requires a lot of comfort in the relationship, right? That because for somebody to fix something he sees a problem with, that requires comfort in knowing that the criticism or the fixes are going to be well received, or they're going to be dealable with.
Sure, if he's ego driven, yeah.
No, that's the reality for guys. Is like, if we're not comfortable in a relationship and we see problems, we can't step in because we feel like, and what I'm saying is that guys that see that, they feel like, all right, if I step in and point out a problem, like some guys see it, if they're not comfortable in a relationship, they see it as starting a fire in their own house.
Well, why would you be in a relationship you're not comfortable being in?
Well, people get into those.
Find my iPad cord. I can still hear you.
Okay. So when you come back, I want to talk about the juxtaposition between Catherine and Jeep's comment, because they both said what they think, and I'd like to talk about the juxtaposition of those comments. Catherine, just so you know, killing spiders, not my jam. Like, I'm arachnophobic. I fucking hate spiders. I will kill them. Don't get me wrong, but I will kill them in significantly more brutal ways than they need to be killed. Like, I will go overboard with it because I'm like, let's nuke the fucking house from orbit. Like, that's how I think about spiders. I fucking hate spiders so much, like with such a passion, because it's so bad how much I fucking hate spiders. It's mildly ridiculous how much I hate spiders.
All right, I'm back.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you Catherine's comment, and then I'm going to show you Jeep's comment. Then we can talk about the juxtaposition between the two.
Okay.
So this is Catherine's. This is Catherine.
Self-assurance. I wouldn't say masculinity.
Hold on. We're going to get to it. I want to show you Jeep's as well.
Dominance, being protective, proactive, being the provider is also very masculine trait, but I can also drive myself too. A woman should still be capable. Okay.
Okay. Now here's Jeep's comment.
Plan, follow through, honest, protect, dedicated. That's Jeep's on point. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I was just saying, though.
But I want to point out, like, guys are like, I'm going to say this shit in 5 words.
No, and I agree with Jeep. Like, that's what I was getting at. Is it's men. If a man is not leading in the relationship, he is not playing the masculine role in the relationship. Mm-hmm. Right? A woman who is making all the plans and setting everything into motion and dictating the pace and coming and starting communication when arguments happen, and she's the one who's trying to solve the problem. That is a woman who is 100% in her masculine energy, and she has forgone all of her femininity because the man is the one who's being feminine. She's chasing after him. She's trying to make sure that they're having experiences together. She's trying to make sure that there's chemistry and connection and sex and all that good stuff. And she's trying to make sure if there's communication problems that she's solving them. That's a woman in her masculine. And then the man who's being avoidant and not doing that and not taking the initiative, he's being chased. He's literally being the woman. He's being pursued.
Okay. So what are your thoughts on this?
I'm listening.
No, you have to say it. I'll wait for you to come back.
All right. None of my chargers are working. I've been having problems with all my iPod cords because I have my iPad plugged in all day, every day, and they're all burnt out.
See, this is a trick she does. She told me she didn't have an Apple Pen, and I Amazon one to her, so, you know.
I have one now.
I know you got like 30 chargers somewhere. They're all over the place.
I almost had a shotgun wedding.
What do you think about shotgun weddings?
Isn't a shotgun wedding like when someone gets pregnant and they get married real quick so that nobody finds out that?
No. They don't get married real quick so they don't find out the baby. What it is it's an immediate commitment from the man To the idea of a shotgun wedding is that the father pulls out a shotgun and says, "You're going to marry my fucking daughter and take care of her, or else."
I do not agree with that at all for two reasons. One, co-parenting is a very, very serious thing. And a lot of the time, people know they're not compatible, and thinking that they're going to make the situation compatible or be compatible with each other because of a pregnancy is a faulty way of thinking. And so I believe, like for me, I would rather raise a child with someone never having been married but being really strong co-parents than try and make a relationship work with someone who I have a tumultuous like relationship with, and then putting the child there to see that. I'd rather just be like, all right, we're never gonna work. We tried already, like, or whatever. We don't know each other enough. So yeah, I don't think that's.
But we can agree that the decision should have been made before they fucked.
Yeah, if you're putting yourself in the position to have a baby with someone who you don't know if you actually want to have a baby with them, then you're making bad decisions.
Let's see, Jeep said women have to just stop worrying about all that shit. Men are problem solvers. Most men will just say, "Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it," and then just take care of it. Yeah, but I think there are less and less people, less and less men who know how to take care of it. Like, I think men aren't being raised to know how to take care of the shit. Men are being raised that, learning all of those skills. Like, men are not being raised to learn those skills. They're not learning how to take care of shit. Like, I'll tell you this, like, I was raised that, like, I know anything that goes wrong with your car, I know how to fucking fix it. Like, it may be a hood fix, but I can fix it, right? I'm going to make it work. Right, like little things like that. But the difference is, I think that Emma's so adorable. But the basic thing is that I don't think a lot of men will say, "Oh, I'll take care of it," but they're not capable of taking care of it nowadays.
So I think modern society, like, I don't feel it's fair to say a man is not masculine because he doesn't know how to fix a car. And I know that's not what you said, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I don't believe in today's society that, like, a guy being able to hang a TV on the wall or build you, a door to your fucking yard or whatever, install a fence makes him masculine. What I say I would say that's personal preference, right?
Yeah, but we can agree those things are sexy, though.
Well, of course, like, you want a handy man, preference. But I would not say that those equate to being masculine. I think that you could literally be a guy who owns a nail salon and be one of the most masculine men out there. Just because maybe you know that business makes a fuck ton of money, so you know how to invest. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that a guy's capabilities make him masculine. I think that being a handyman makes you appear more masculine, right? Traditionally more masculine. But you could also be a fucking bitch. I mean, you could build somebody an entire house and just be a terrible fucking guy who has no idea how to navigate anything else in the world.
I get it, but it is also, there are indications in it. Right? Like Moon says she disagrees, but and the thing is that there are indications in it. Like, the guy, it isn't that the guy is capable of building it, it's that he did. Because a guy can talk about how I can build.
Well, you're talking about capabilities, though.
Like what Catherine said here.
Don't equate capability. Seeing a guy mow the lawn or take the trash out is an instant yeah, I agree, but I'd say that's a preference because.
And by the way, Kenny said.
Yeah, well, I mow my own lawn and take my own trash out, so I guess I don't know. Like, I've never really been around a guy who would act like that. So maybe I would have been turned on by those things. Yeah, because of course he's doing masculine activities. He's doing things that, like, he's getting sweaty, he's lifting things, he's doing things that I don't want to do. But would I say it makes a man less masculine if he can't do those things or doesn't do those things? No, I would just say it makes him less desirable.
Like, those are add-ons, they're pluses.
I would say that if I could choose from the you know, twin brothers, the same, it's the same personalities, same looks. Let's say they have the same job, same incomes, whatever, like all the things that factor into what you might consider for someone. And one of them never notices when the trash can is full and never takes the trash out, and I have to always take the trash out. Or one of them doesn't mow the yard and I have to go out there and mow the yard because he's not ever going to help or ever going to do it or even offer. Then I'm obviously not going to pick the guy who is the one who never helps or never does those things. But that isn't because I think one's more masculine than the other. It just means I think one's fucking lazy.
Mm-hmm. Well, like Jeep said, it's not so much a physical ability, but even know how to pick up a phone. Just take care of it. That's true. That's true. It's about getting things done. It's not so much about how it gets done. It's about getting it done.
Right. Like if I have a guy who he makes a shit ton of money and he prefers to pay yard people to come and do the yard because he wants to spend Saturday afternoon with me or his kids or whatever, then I'm not going to think he's less masculine because he pays someone to do his yard.
And Moon, I agree with you. Men should know how to change their own oil, but you don't have to do it. Like I know how to change my oil, but I don't change my own oil. I'd rather pay $30 to have somebody.
Well, that comes down to how much is your time worth, right?
Yes, exactly. It's about value.
If you have a lot of time and you can change your oil and it doesn't take away from other things that are important and productive, okay. But like for me, I fucking am running a business and I work full time and I spend time with my family. Like I'm not going to go change my own oil. Like nope. I don't even have that much time to do anything I want to as it is.
Well, it's just like what Catherine said here. Just like when men watch us take care of the house, be gentle mothers, be pregnant, make his dinner, be soft, etc. It's turn on its caveman brain. I've said that before, that there is nothing sexier to a guy than a woman pregnant with his kid. Like that, it really is. It's just, it is pure. It is pure caveman brain. It is pure like, oh, I love that. Like, and I don't know what it is, but I've had buddies who have multiple kids and they tell me all the time, they're like, look, I think my wife is sexy. I've always thought my wife is sexy, but when she was pregnant, I couldn't keep my fucking hands off her.
I have a little bit of an alternative viewpoint to what she said because, and this is just based on my personal experience, but what I found is that when I am the girl who cooks and cleans and takes care of things and does all that, and what I found is the more and more I've ever done that for a man, the less and less he ever appreciated me or did anything for me. It seems the majority of the time, and this is with every relationship I've ever been in for the past 10 years, the more I cooked and cleaned and played that role, the worse I got treated. And it was like they just eventually stopped doing anything at all, and I became their mother. And so now, I don't know if at this point in my life as a single woman that I would cook and clean for a man anymore. And that's because I've had 10 years of being taken for granted doing that. So it's now, why would I ever fucking do that? It just wouldn't make any sense to me at all. I would do that for myself, but I've never experienced a man being turned on by me being that kind of a woman, ever.
Well, like what Jeep said here, he said, I know how to cook, but I like to hang out and cook together when I was married. Cooking together, I think, is one of the most, like cooking a real meal. Like, because when people say cook together, sometimes it's like heating up food. But actually, like cooking together is one of the most fun experiences you can ever have with someone. And I think it says a lot about the person you're with, because getting along in a kitchen, especially if it's a small kitchen, is an effort, because you want to elbow some people and be like, move over. Like it's, I think getting along with somebody in the kitchen is a good indication of how you're going to be in a relationship as well, because it's a confined space where you both have ideas about the way you're doing something, and you're either going to mesh those ideas and it's going to be fun, or you're not going to mesh
until you're teaching a guy how to cook.
Well, yeah, if you're teaching a guy what fucking basil tastes like,
that's not an attractive thing.
Why have you cooked with someone you had to teach them?
Oh my God, I've had to teach.
You've never had to teach me?
No, that is one thing you brought to the table, is that you were good at cooking, but I would say I've had guys cook for me before, but like and again, I'm younger than, you know, and I'm talking about dating experience in my 20s. But no, most men in their 20s are like stopping by Taco Bell. They're not.
Yeah, most. I would say that I know very few men, and it's weird because like I do know like very masculine men from the army and all that, but I do like I know every guy that I'm friends with knows how to fucking barbecue.
I mean, I had to teach a couple of my boyfriends how to use a fucking power drill. You know how unsexy that is? Like, and you know, I think a big problem though for me though is like I'm a feminine woman. I am very feminine for the most part in my mannerisms and how I handle things. But I'm also very outspoken and have a strong personality. And because I was raised by a single father, I figured out like how I know how to cook, clean, build things. Like I can do a lot of things. And so I run into, this is so weird to say, but I run into men who just they can't keep at the same level with me.
Yeah, but again, we're talking about the majority of guys you dated have been young in this current generation.
The majority of guys in the world, like.
Oh no, definitely not, definitely not. Because once you get above the age of 35, once you get into the older millennials or the Gen X, right? Once you get into those, like Gen X knows how to do all those things. I don't know anybody of the Gen X generation who doesn't know how to fucking cook. I don't know anybody of the Gen X generation who doesn't know how to fix a fucking car. And older millennials are the same way. Like I'm within 1 year of not being a millennial, being Gen X. But all that shit was part of my upbringing.
But are you willing to do those things? Like that's the thing is like no.
Yeah.
I don't. Okay. Well, I don't think so.
Nope. But that's the way it works. Like, and Catherine says you sound like an A plus woman. But yeah, if you're dating people in their 20s in this generation, I think women are setting themselves up for disappointment. I think regardless of the woman, whether she's entitled and wanting things, they're not going to be able to provide that. Whether she's traditional and looking for a masculine man, she's not going to find that. Like, I don't think that men in their 20s right now are capable of being real men.
I don't think men in their 30s are either.
No, I think most men in their 30s are. I think that most of the men in their late 30s who are capable of all that are almost at the point where they've given up looking.
Well, then it's a moot point then. You know, like just as men want a woman, you know, that's younger than them. Most men want a woman who's beautiful and younger than them. That's the dream, right? A woman who's maybe 5, 6, 7 years younger than them.
Yeah, but that's significantly easier to find because you see it right away. It's on it's surface things.
Right. But as a man in his late 30s, you're not going to bag for the long term a woman who is all these great qualities and all these feminine qualities and younger than you if you're just like a person who can't fucking do anything or like can't put anything forward because you're jaded. Like, right? That's not.
It is. There's a lot of men my age super fucking jaded. They are just, right. And it's not that they're jaded with the women they dated. It's not so much jaded as they're just tired. They're of the mind that they're like, if it happens, great, but they just don't care. And that's a horrible thought process to have because once you get to that point where you're so fucking tired of it that you just rinse your hands of it, what you're doing is there's no happy life for that. Like I don't know, you know, I rarely have ever find 50-year-old women or men that are happy and alone. Like that's not just a reality. Like, but people have convinced themselves that, and men and women do this equally, where they say, I'd rather be old and alone. It's like, no, what you did was you gave up the game while you were still capable of participating in it. And now you're dealing with the consequences of it.
I think what you're describing is people who have had so many bad experiences in comparison to good. Because I would say 100%, like I'm 30 and I have at times been like, you know what? I think I'd just rather be alone because being with a man sounds fucking exhausting. Like they're not bringing anything to the table.
Mm-hmm.
They're not appreciative.
But that's what I'm talking about.
You know, and so I've gone out there putting my best foot forward, trying to be a
Mm-hmm.
woman who cooks and cleans and is loyal and plans vacations and does all this shit, like goes way out of her way. And I've never, ever had that reciprocated. So I think like, I'm just kind of like, maybe I would rather be a spinster.
So you agree with me. So you agree with me. But
Yeah.
but my point is that good luck finding 50-year-old men or women that are alone and are happy.
I mean, I know quite a few.
You know quite a few that claim they love their lives and everything's good.
Well,
they don't.
They're all very, very successful and can travel.
Yeah, they're ballers. They're ballers.
Right.
Yeah, if here's the thing, like your dad's a baller. Like
but
your
I'm
dad.
talking about my dad, all of his friends, and then
Yes,
also,
of course, your dad has surrounded himself with guys that are like-minded. That's what guys do.
I'm gonna say women too, though. There's plenty of women in the group of people he's friends with that are also single because
but think about the woman who's a great match for him that he's dating right now. The woman who
he doesn't
appreciate her because but it isn't that he doesn't appreciate her. It's that your dad doesn't fucking care anymore.
No, what it is that my dad, this is an anomaly situation.
I don't think your dad's an anomaly though.
No, my dad likes women who are fucking psychotic and treat him like shit.
I think your dad has just gotten used to it.
No, and my dad meeting a nice woman who puts a ton of effort forth. And this is what I was explaining that I personally experienced. Now that he's finally met this woman that he's always wanted, this woman who puts effort forth, and she's financially makes more money than him. She's got all the boxes checked. She's very feminine. She doesn't argue with him or question him or anything. I mean, like, she just checks all the boxes on femininity and everything that a guy says he would want. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't have any appreciation for her at all.
Yeah, because he doesn't care.
She's not a fucking bitch who's constantly like playing the game and doing all the bullshit. And I don't know, like
but I think that even if your dad met a bitch, even if your dad met another psycho
every
bitch,
woman he's ever dated
but
has
but my point is that even if the woman he was dating right now was a psycho bitch, he still wouldn't be interested. It's not that he's not interested in her because she's not a psycho bitch. It's because of all the psycho bitches before. I think your dad has just got to the point where he's done with the fucking game. He doesn't want to play anymore. And even when you bring him an easy win, he's like, I don't fucking want to play.
And he will end up alone.
Yes.
For the rest of his life.
But that makes you sad to know that he's going to be alone for the rest of his life.
No, he deserves it.
No, I get it. But if you
I don't feel bad for him.
No, it's not. I'm not saying feel bad for him, but you know that his life would be better with that woman in his life.
Absolutely.
Right. So, and that's my point is, it's not saying that older people can't find comfort in being alone. Like you can find comfort in anything. You can find comfort in prison. You can find comfort anywhere where you can be comfortable in anything. But you know that if your father were to allow that woman to be a participant in his life for the long term, he would have a better result of life. And that's what the older people are missing when they give up on the bullshit. And I get your dad has dealt with what you've told me. Your dad has dealt with some shit. I mean,
everything's his fault.
Yeah. Huh?
Everything's his fault.
No, I get it. I'm not saying your dad's free of guilt. I'm saying that your dad has dealt with horrible fucking relationships.
Because he literally chose to ignore the most obvious fucking red flags.
Yes.
And get involved with women who were very obviously terrible fucking people.
Yes. And welcome to the world of so many women who say all the guys I've dated are pieces of shit because they see the red flags and they're like, get that out of my face. I got to get in here. And that both sexes do it. Men and women do it equally. We are amazingly good at seeing the red flag and going, just lying to ourselves, saying that looks green. It's like, no, it doesn't. That's a fucking red flag. The same way we look The same way we go through a traffic light and somebody tells us in the car, yo, that was red. And you're like, no, it was orange. It's fine. It's fine. I was good to go through. It was still good. We will lie to ourselves about the thing because we always think there's something better next. Everybody, when they're younger, always thinks the next is better. Always thinks the grass is greener.
I've never been that person, so can't identify with that thought process. I've given my 100% everything I fucking got to the bitter end with every person I've ever been with.
Yeah, and it's exhausting to do it.
Not for me. I never felt like it was exhausting.
No. That's not what I mean. No, I don't mean during the relationship. During the relationship, it feels like you're doing everything you want to do. But when you look back on it, you go, fuck, I did all that again and it didn't work. And then you do it again and you're like, I did all that again. It didn't work. And that's where people become jaded.
I mean, I guess that's not my mentality, but I could see why people would feel that way.
Mm-hmm. Again, I'm not talking about you specifically. I'm talking about the people that have gotten like your father, right? Like your father has gotten to the point where he's like, and your father is only going to see the good he's done. Your father's not going to recognize the bad he's done because that's how people work. Nobody's going to look.
My dad has a very flawed process in this. He's not really like everyone else.
No, but my point is that. But my point is, when people look back on relationships, they generally only see the good they did. They don't see where they fucked up. And it takes a lot of introspection and a lot of work to see where their flaws were.
Well, people want to blame the other person for everything.
Always. We always want to, right? That's the way, that's just human nature. Is we want
that's human nature of people who haven't done the work to become self-aware.
And I get that, but when it comes from when it comes from a relationship side, everybody goes into a relationship, or hopefully good people go into a relationship with the best intentions. And the worst part about a good relationship is that all of your failures are on display. Like if you're a good person with good intentions going into a relationship and you fail at it, the only thing on display is your failures, right? It's because they're so obvious. Because if you actually care about the other person, when you look back on it, you go, well, fuck, like this, I did this wrong, or I did. You're able to recognize those things. The problem is, I think people are doing that same thing, but they're doing it with relationships they never should have been in the first place. Like they're dating the fuckboy. And they're like, oh, this caused the relationship. If you didn't have a relationship with a fuckboy, this caused the relationship to fail. And they're learning from mistakes they never actually made.
Sometimes it takes people going through the same lesson 10 times before they finally learn it. That is legitimately, in my opinion, the meaning of life. Like
that was me with algebra.
We go through life, and I'm not a religious person, so I always say the universe. So I say the universe gives us the same lesson repeatedly until we learn it. We start businesses and the business fail. The business will fail every time you start a business until you learn the lesson of why the business is failing, right? Mm-hmm. Because generally business is 101. It's the same across the board and differentiates based on certain things, but you learn those certain things.
Best practices work across all businesses.
Right. So we have friendships and all of our friendships fail, or and so the universe will provide you with the same lesson repeatedly until you've learned the lesson. And it takes people sometimes a really, really long time of doing the same thing over and over again until they finally go, oh, shit. Mm-hmm. So I agree with you, but I would say red flags are not as apparent to people who are dealing with them as they are as the people who are not involved.
Yeah, the observers see it a lot easier. But I do want to say something. It's funny that, we talked about lessons and things like that. It's funny. But now the reason why I said algebra, right, is because I've taken it. My point is that sometimes the easiest lessons are the ones you don't learn, right? Is because, like I said, I had to read my algebra textbook like 10 fucking times. I was not getting it. But again, I went from there, got an easy A in trig and geometry. I got an easy A in calc and advanced calc and all. So I was able to grasp way harder shit. But the simple one, algebra is supposed to be the simple one, right? That one fucking completely eluded me. I was so struggling for that A in fucking algebra, but then I went to more advanced shit and was like, oh, this is fucking cake. I'm good. I'm good with this, right? So I think sometimes that the easiest lessons are the ones that because you don't devote as much effort to them. Like you don't pay attention to those as much because you know there's much harder stuff coming. So I think it just leads to problems later. What are you?
That I see a woman.
You're scrolling away all your texts. They showing up on your screen.
Me? No.
Oh, I thought you were swiping text away.
No, my mic was muted.
Oh.
Kenny said I seen a guy call a woman Arby's because she was like roast beef on a live today.
Look, ladies. I haven't experienced this, but I've been told that somebody else's shit is ugly.
That's so stupid. I'm gonna take it out. I'll be right back.
There's no doubt you've seen ugly penises. Let's be real.
Yeah, but I'm not so uncouth that I'm going to sit here and discuss it.
I'm not going to discuss it either. That's a good question. Where is Pastor Mike? He's usually in these lives. He got us onto like a whole religious thing the other day. What do people think about the 18-year-old killed? I think it was awful. I think that somebody felt justified. And the worst part is the guy felt justified in killing that guy and killing that kid. Like, that's the worst part is they came to his house to arrest him. And he was like, no, I was justified to do it. Like, I think it's awful. I think it's absolutely awful. You say, I'm 57, retired helicopter pilot, not poor. I'm alone, but not lonely and not unhappy. I'll find someone sometime until the freedom is all. Yeah, but that's the problem. But Jeep, that's something like, here's the thing. You're not lonely and not unhappy. And I always worry that if I were to let myself get older without putting in the effort to find someone, that I'm going to get to the point where I am comfortable. And I don't want to be comfortable alone. I want to be super uncomfortable alone. I want to have a feeling that I have to work to find the love of my life. Like that, because people that feel when you start feeling comfortable being alone and you're older, like you're 57, you're comfortable with it, and I'm happy for you. But I also worry that with comfort comes accepting less. Like, and that's what I worry about. And it's the same with relationships. If you're in a relationship and you accept less than you deserve, sure, you can be comfortable, but are you really getting what you want? Are you actually happy? Or are you just okay with how life is going? And that's what I worry about. And I worry about that for a lot of people. Like I see, like, if it's like, I look at one of my sisters, one of my sisters happily married, she pumped out kids like it was her fucking job. It was insane. She had a kid like 10 years late, was very unhappy about it, but loves the kid. And then I have another sister who is just failing at everything in life. Like she is not doing great. And I worry that she's going to, push life to a time where she might not be interested in finding happiness anymore. And she will be happy because she'll be comfortable. And like Jeep said, the effort is there, but the ladies are so demanding. I get that, but you have to understand is that a relationship is demanding. Like it is like a great relationship and a shitty relationship demands a lot of you. You are committing yourself to a person and being responsible for being a positive thing in their life. That should take a lot of work. That should be demanding. Like, it's like getting a job that pays you really well. You shouldn't expect to work 2 hours a day, right? It's just the reality of the good things take effort. Are you chilling out in the yard with the dogs?
They're driving me insane. Raven and Emma are going nuts right now. I don't know if you can see them. Hold on, here they come.
Yeah, I see them. Just they ran out of camera, but I see them. Yep, there they are.
They're acting crazy, so I have no choice but to sit out here with them because they're driving me insane.
You're all good. You still got good light and good camera out there. You're good. Good audio.
So many lights out here so that I don't get murdered.
All right, can you move it that way a little bit just because of the light blinds? There you go. Or that.
That's the floodlight behind me.
Gotcha. That keeps the crazies away.
Yeah, well, I live in that kind of neighborhood, so.
Oh, you're not. You're like hood adjacent. You're not really in the hood.
I live. There's ladies of the night like literally about a block away from where I live, and they walk back through my alleyway all night long, and I've seen some used condoms and things like that back in the alleyway. So
What are you worried about their recruitment pitch?
yeah, at that point in my life where I'm gonna go
No.
sell it for $20.
The thing is, though, I feel like people that choose to live that kind of life, I think they make the decision early to do that type of shit. And Jeep says, I'm just trying to find a down home woman.
Actually, the majority of young sex workers in the U.S. are trafficked.
Yes, well, Tampa's like the sex trafficking capital of the U.S.
It's the second in the country.
Yep.
I told you that the other night when we went out. And so when you're hiring sex workers in the US, and especially if you're getting them under the age of 30 or whatever, the majority of people you're dealing with have been a victim of sex trafficking.
What a weird job to get hired in HR for.
Sex trafficking? I'm confused.
You said when you're hiring them people. I was just picturing like a hiring
Well, I
manager.
guess when you're kidnapping them is what I
Yeah,
should.
when you're a ruthless piece of shit who's stealing women, yeah. Just the way you said it made me think about like hiring managers on LinkedIn being like, want to be sexually abused for the next 20 years? Like,
I
no,
have
like,
no problem with legal prostitution.
no, neither do I.
That's a business, but
Voluntary.
But yeah, voluntary legal prostitution, like women who go choose to work at the bunny ranch and stuff like that.
Do you think?
But prostitution on like a street level is drugs, people who are addicted to drugs, being pimped out, and sex trafficked.
Yep,
It's
I agree.
really, really fucked up.
It is. It's awful. It's an awful. But see, that's where people's problem with it comes into play, is because I think they assume that everyone participating in it is along those lines, or they try to use that
Almost
as some excuse.
On a illegal prostitution, like 90% of the people who are involved in legal prostitution are either addicted to drugs or have been trafficked by a loved one.
Jesus, that's fucking terrible.
That's why, like, I am all for cracking down on illegal prostitution. Like, it's really, 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 really bad.
I agree, 100%.
I don't give a fuck if you want to go work at a high-end brothel. Like, whatever, that's you. Do you? Legal in Nevada, like, all good, but like,
it's actually not legal in Vegas, right?
No, it's legal in that one little area of land in Nevada.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's legal outside of Vegas.
Hey, what are you growling at?
But actually, in Las Vegas, it's illegal.
I know tons of people who want to go live there just so they can go get hookers.
That's I couldn't, like, if somebody wants to uproot their life and move somewhere just so they can get a hooker, like that is not a good person.
Some people live their entire lives revolved around sexual pleasure.
God, what a shallow fucking life. What is Emma barking at?
I think there's somebody walking through the alleyway.
Okay.
I have 3 dogs who would absolutely murder someone if they ran up on me, so I'm not worried about it.
Yeah. Emma would fuck somebody up.
Maggie would absolutely rip someone to shreds, and so would Raven.
Maggie would go after their calves.
Maggie's the only one who's ever actually hurt someone or hurt another animal.
Oh, yeah, she's a stone cold old killer. She's old school. Emma would just be like, well, I'm going to use your femur for a chew toy. Let's see how this works.
I think Emma would like welcome the criminal into the house and show belly.
No, God, no. Emma doesn't like bad people. She doesn't. Emma just assumes the best of people, but she also, I think she can pick out bad people. You're muted.
That's because they're barking and I'm talking to them. So you can,
Oh, gotcha. I thought you were talking to me. No. Just so you guys know, Emma is a gangster ass pit bull. Maggie is a plot hound.
Plot hound, yeah.
Yeah, and then Raven is a blue healer, but she's also attached to Rachel.
Velociraptor.
She's literally attached to Rachel. Like if Rachel goes 10 feet, I guarantee you that Raven is within 10 feet of her. And at most times, probably within 2 feet. Yeah, Raven doesn't allow distance between her and Rachel.
Yeah, personal space is not really a thing.
No, she does not understand the
Although
idea.
I was in the bathtub, I think it was the night before last, and Emma got into the bathtub while I was in the bathtub.
Oh, she was, you know, wanting to hang out. She looked like fun. Emma just wanted to hang out. She was like, "You look like you're having a good time. Let me have a good time." Oh, I can imagine as a cop, you get some crazy stories about that shit. I imagine you got some crazy ass fucking stories. Any cop I've ever met has some, we'll just say interesting stories about that stuff. You know, she's currently yelling at the dogs, trying to get them to come in, and they are ignoring the fuck out of her right now because they want to run around and play.
It's just Emma. She's the only one who ignores me.
Emma!
She was actually in the laundry room that whole time. I just couldn't see her because she was behind the washing machine.
Oh, 30 years.
They were all listening very well. They were being very.
You were just yelling at them anyway. Yep. That's all right. That's parenting 101. I'm going to yell at you. And even if you're doing what you're supposed to do, you got to deal with it. Emma's like, "What the fuck? I'm being a good girl. Why am I getting yelled at?" She's probably so confused.
Yeah, I was screaming at her, and she was literally standing right behind me.
Like, yeah, what the fuck did I do?
Yeah.
Well, if you live near Compton, I imagine, yeah, that's a bad area.
I grew up in the hood. My best friend in 3rd grade got shot in the head at the crosswalk.
Jesus. Where was the crossing guard?
She was the crossing guard.
That'll do it. She took a bullet for the kids.
No, she was also a 3rd grader. She was like the safety patrol. And we were all walking across the street to go home because I lived right next to the projects. And a stray bullet from the projects from a drug fight hit her in the head and killed her.
Yep, that's the dangers of the hood.
And then I remember one time we actually had a shooter on school grounds. We had to do like the drill, but like it was for real. And he busted in the classroom next to the one that I was in and killed 2 kids before they got him. Back in the days when cops would actually go into the school and do something.
Yeah, not like Uvalde.
Not now, but back when they would actually like, be cops.
Oh, what I've never been more pissed off at cops than I was at Uvalde. I was like, you got to be shitting me. You're not going in? Like a parent went in and got her kids and cops wouldn't go in.
I would, if I was a parent, I would be showing up dressed like I was in that fucking show, The Walking Dead. And I would be like, go ahead and try to stop me from going in. Go ahead. Shoot me, put me in jail. You go ahead and try to stop me as a mom going in.
They did. They arrested that mom.
And okay, I would. I mean, I'm not only going in for my kid, I'm going in for every fucking kid that I could possibly get out of there. And I mean, I don't get that kind of stuff because like I think about this all the time. Like, and I know it sounds like maybe I'm just saying this or I don't know what I would actually do. But I think about like if a person came into a movie theater with a gun, like I would probably try my best to like try and as a 5-foot woman tackle this person and murder them with my bare hands if I could. It probably wouldn't work out, but I don't understand like the whole like
it's like I'm going to say something that pisses people off. I've said it before and it really upsets people. But
no, what's new?
Yeah, this is true. Everyone on those 9/11 flights they're the reason that crashed into the buildings.
Yeah, because it was 2 guys, right? Who hijacked
with box cutters.
And it's like
you let a guy hijack a plane with more than 200 people with a fucking box cutter.
I'm on a plane and you scream out for everybody to shut up and hijack it.
No, we're fighting.
I'm sitting in my seat and I'm looking at the person next to me and I'm going on 3. On 3.
I'm not. I'm just getting up in the walkway. And I'm going to be like, you have a box cutter, dude. Like, you got to have a lot more than that to think that, because here's the thing. If all I'm going to do is step into the walkway and be like, bro, this ain't going down like that. Like, you're going to have to fucking kill me with your little bitch ass knife. You're going to have to cut me 30 fucking times with that thing before I beat you to death. Like, and here's the thing. If the other 200 people surrounding you when you're fighting me don't help, then we all deserve to die anyway. That's the way it fucking works. I'm sorry, but everybody on those 9/11 flights, I'm sorry, but they died because they were bitches. You're a bitch. If you allow your plane to be hijacked with a box cutter, you're a bitch.
A lot of people are not going to do anything.
No, but the thing is like 9/11 happened because Americans are weak. That's why 9/11 happened. It happened because Americans are weak. Because you stand up with a box. Do you know how fucking small the blade is on a box cutter?
Do you think that's because people in America have really never faced true adversity?
Yeah, we're a bitch made people. The American people are weak.
Like
we are very
not
weak.
Living in fucking a country where Al Qaeda is bombing shit, or like
we're not living in a country where anybody's challenging us at all.
Yeah.
There is no real difficulty in the U.S. Like, people talk about life being hard in the U.S. It's not. Like, the life is really fucking
talk
good.
About women's rights.
That's why
overseas for a
that's why we're the only country discussing fucking trans fucking pronouns and recognition of this. It's the only reason why we're discussing this is because we have no real problems. Our biggest problem is inflation, which is a fucking nothing to you can't fight against it. It's a result of the government policies, but it cracks me up when people act like life is hard in the US. It's not. Life is not difficult here. We have it so easy. And like I said, that's why I look at 9/11 and I go, that happened because Americans are weak.
Well, wasn't that the example they were trying to make?
Yeah, but the point is like when people are like, oh, these terrorists hijacked the plane. No, 2 dudes hijacked your plane with box cutters. Like, that's the ridiculousness. Yeah, and as Jeep said here,
we're a nation of victims.
Yeah. And that's where people try to talk about 9/11. I'm like, the only reason it happened is because Americans are weak as fuck. Well, because they hijacked 767s. They have like 200, 300 people on them. You were saying, you said our entire.
I was just going to say our entire social system is getting to the point of being based on a handout.
Yeah. Yep. Who's going to give me the fastest and biggest handout? And that's where I'm going to go.
And it's funny because people who expect that kind of stuff or follow those types of policies idealize these other European countries where they do stuff like that, not taking into account that these countries are 1/10 our size and have never actually been challenged by another country. Like using Sweden and Switzerland as an example of policy, like where they have pedophiles who get to live in like a 2-bedroom IKEA built home in a national forest. Like, I get it. That's it's almost dystopian, right? But people try to use these countries as examples. And it's like, America is not even in the same category. Like, we're a much bigger, comprehensive society. Like, it's just, I don't know. I get like socialistic policies when it comes to that kind of stuff sound good. They're altruistic, but it's just not, I don't know. It's just not what people, I think it's a fallacy to believe in that.
It's not in the realm of reality. Like, it's not like, if we wanted to experience English culture, right? And we went to England for a week and just traveled around a little bit.
Isn't England like the smaller?
No. But what I mean is, if we wanted to experience English culture, we could go there for a week, travel around, and we get the gist of English culture. If you wanted to experience American culture, like, and you go to the Northeast, you're not experiencing American culture, you're experiencing Northeast culture. You'd have to spend months traveling around the country.
Where I come from, we don't associate with people in the Northeast.
Nope.
That's how different the culture is from the people. My family, well, my family's real Southern, so, but we are so different in the realm of values, virtues, and thought processes from people in the Northeast that we legitimately from birth are raised to think that they are just not worth our time and that they are enemies of us.
Oh, we're raised the same way up in the Northeast.
I know. Y'all think that Southern people are stupid and all this other stuff. And,
we don't think you're stupid. We just assume you're slower.
Right. But we also look at Northeasterners as people completely lacking any sort of, I guess, like, how would I put this? We look at people from the Northeast just as fucking trash for the most part. Like, y'all, like, just rude, socially inept, selfish, like, and of course, and people think people from the South are dumb and racist and all of that.
No, that's not how we're raised. We're raised to think that you guys are slower, that you don't fucking get anything done, that you're just living life and wasting life.
It's so funny though, how all the people from the Northeast just love to come down here.
Well, yeah, when they get to the point in their lives where they want to chill the fuck out. Because the Northeast is a rat race.
But then they want to.
It's 100.
They want to try to turn it into the place that they're escaping.
No. A lot of the time, those of us from the Northeast, as long as you're not coming from like the super liberal states, we come down to the South and we're like, look, we get the rat race we live in. It's 100 miles an hour in the Northeast at all times. Like relaxing is not a thing. Like it really isn't. That's just not in our thought process. But when we come down to the South, we generally are like, oh, this is so fucking chill. Like that was my thing. When I moved to the panhandle of Florida, like when I moved up there for 7th group, I got there and I was like, y'all motherfuckers are chill.
All right.
Like,
I'm not trying to make this a competition, but what I'm trying to say is nobody from the South dreams about going to live up north.
I don't blame you. Nobody gets older and is like, you know what I want to do? I want to go at 100 miles an hour in my life and enter the rat race.
It's not about that. It's about the people. No one from the South wants to go get a cup of coffee and gas and run and get the Fendi bag.
And nobody from the North
fingernails
and nobody from the North wants your fucking sweet tea. Like we come down for the chillness. That's why people come down. Because
trying to tell me you don't like cornbread and sweet tea?
I fucking hate cornbread.
Okay.
Like the thing is that the culture, we understand that it's a culture of chill. It's a culture of things are going to happen. Relax, let it happen. Like people in this, like, here's the funny thing though. Like having spent.
So you think the Northeast is a better place to live when it comes to society, culture, people and interaction. So if you could take all the people from the Northeast but you put them into Florida and give them a chiller lifestyle and different policies, you think that would be an equally as happy, calm, loving place to live?
Because you say give them different policies and things like that. No, I think that people from the North that come to the South adopt the chill lifestyle, the much more mellow lifestyle that the South has, the slower way about doing things, where we were taught that the South was slow. And now we were taught that they were slow in the fucking brain. But what it is when we come to the South, we realize that it's slower because you're not concerning yourselves with all the stupid little fucking non-important shit that we concern ourselves with. Because but if you're raised in the Northeast, you're raised that your job in life is to go at 100 miles an hour and be hyper successful.
What you're saying, though, is that you're acknowledging that the thought processes that are taught about the South are stigmas.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Just like I'm acknowledging that the thought processes you're taught about the North are stigmas. Everybody is stigmas. Like, I'm sure there's amazing people in California. right? But the stigma of California is liberal fucking assholes that, want free shit from the government. The stigma of Colorado is a bunch of fucking potheads that want to ignore fucking life. The stigma about Montana is everybody from fucking Yellowstone. The stigma about Kansas is these inbred motherfuckers can't figure their way off the farm. We all have terrible stigmas about each other. It's a matter of the life you want. Like if you're a person that wants to be like, all I care about in life is being hyper successful, fucking working in business, being recognized as a fucking absolute leader in the world, you take your fucking ass to the Northeast. If you're like, look, what I want out of life is happiness. I want to be genuinely fulfilled with my life, and I want to be comfortable with where I am in life. Fucking the South is banging. Now, if your role in life is I want people to stop to exist,
I think you're kind of trivializing things a little bit.
I think you're kind of overly fantasizing the South.
How so? I never said anything in favor.
No, but I mean is when you look at the South, I've lived all over the South, and I will tell you that
lived all over the Northeast.
And I got you, but I lived in the Northeast for 19 years.
I lived in New Jersey, New York.
I'm not saying you didn't. What I'm saying is that first of all, Atlanta's not the North.
Yes, it is, but it is wholly populated by people from the Northeast at this point that have come down from DC.
I think
the majority of people, when you go and live in downtown Atlanta, you're running into people who are way more formed by the Northeast than the South. You only run into the Southern people when you go out into the rural areas.
Yes, but when I go out to the rural areas, I don't enjoy myself. Like when I was living in the Panhandle of Florida, I did not enjoy that area.
Probably because you didn't know any people that could show you how to have fun.
It isn't a matter that is I weren't interested in their forms of fun. I wasn't interested in the country life.
Guns and riding four-wheelers?
Did that up north. I had four-wheelers. The difference is the people. I didn't like the culture of the country.
Why?
Because I just didn't like them.
What didn't you like about it?
I didn't like the fucking way people fucking weren't in a hurry to go anywhere. Everybody's fucking driving slow as shit. I didn't like the fact that nothing ever got done. Fucking everything was so chill and everybody was so relaxed about everything. It was fucking boring. It was very, very boring. That's where I love Tampa, because Tampa is a southern city with an opportunity for a northern lifestyle.
Tampa's not a southern city.
No, I'm not talking about just Tampa. I'm talking about the whole area that is reachable from the Tampa area. We're talking about you could, if you want, chill.
Stated that you're not interested in any of the other areas outside of Tampa.
No, I am interested in the places outside of Tampa. I'm not interested in the country. I'm not interested in
everything outside of Tampa is the country.
No, but again, I like beach towns. I think beach towns have a different atmosphere than the South.
Florida is wholeheartedly cow pastures, swampland.
Yes, but I would never live in the middle of Florida.
Yeah, but if you go anywhere outside of Tampa or Miami,
no.
It is. What do you mean no?
Well, like
you can drive 20 minutes from where I live.
You can, but if you go down the coast, you're finding beach towns, which I love the atmosphere of beach towns.
Yeah, that's coastal.
I like coastal. What I found is that I don't like country. Like I don't like Fort Walton Beach. Yes, it's a beach town, but it's way too country for me. It doesn't fit what I want. No, I wouldn't even say they were redneck so much, because like my impression of redneck was a little different than what I see in the South. I wouldn't classify the people I've met in the South as redneck. I classify them as country, because redneck to me is such a negative thing.
Well, the whole point of this was getting to the fact to say that culture is so different based on the North and the South, and you're 100% correct.
Yeah.
That, because my whole family is from the South. And they don't like anything to do with up north. They think that all y'all are fucking rude and don't know how to conversate, ego-driven, can't slow down, can't have a good time, don't appreciate the smaller things in life.
Yep.
And it's a perfect example because you're from Philadelphia and I am from rural area of Florida. Mm-hmm. And I would guarantee that if we ever got our families together in the same place, it would be real fucking awkward.
No, it wouldn't be, because the thing is that like I don't like, I'll put it this way. I don't like Philly people. It's so funny. Like, I love my
But
family
you
and
got done saying that you don't like country people.
no, I don't, but I don't like because no, it isn't that
You
I
don't
don't
like
like
Philly people and you don't
it
like
isn't that I don't,
Why?
because I'm trying to explain. I'm not saying I don't like Northeastern people. I understand why they live the life they do. Philly people, however, to me, I look at Philly people like I look at people from fucking San Francisco. They are insanely fucking liberal.
Two people,
Ins-
Northern Florida, Philly people, New York people, New Jersey people, y'all are all the same.
we're not. We're definitely not.
But to us,
To you, yes. From the outside, yes.
just like somebody from Jacksonville is no different from somebody from Atlanta, but somebody from Jacksonville would be like, who's a fucking a cow farmer in Jacksonville would be insulted to hear that you would say he was like a farmer from Atlanta. Like, because they would be like that Yankee.
But yeah, but
that's what would come out of their mouth.
But so the point is that to experience American culture, I don't even know how long it would take to actually get a full breath of what America is like.
Right, because I think we could both agree on the fact that we have no concept of what it would be like to be a Midwesterner.
Fuck no, not even the slightest clue.
Grow
I mean,
up in
I've watched Yellowstone. I mean, you know.
Like to grow up in the Midwest for me.
Oh my God.
I think I would rather go jump off a cliff than grow up in Indiana.
Yeah, but also imagine growing up in Seattle.
I would be a completely different person.
Yeah, that's the thing is
I couldn't even be close to the same fucking person.
No, but that's the thing is what I'm saying is that when you go to like these countries where they say, oh, we should base our policies off of how these people are. It's like that is a homogenous culture. When you go to Sweden, it is homogenous across the entire country because it's such a tiny fucking country. And then when you come to the US, if you cross a state line, everything fucking changes. It's insane how different America is across the entire country.
I mean, I've experienced that. Like, so I lived in Richmond, Virginia, which is an hour south of Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm from the South. I was born and raised in Florida. My family is from Jacksonville, Ocala, Palatka. And then my other side of my family is Cuban. And when they came here, they moved to rural country areas. So even though they're Cuban, they assimilated to country culture, right? So I'm double country. We'll just put it that way. And going and living in a place like Richmond, Virginia, which is heavily Democratic, heavily liberal. It's an urban city. There's a totally different way of life, a way of thinking. Like, they don't have the same values. Like, where I grew up, having trash in your front yard is despicable. Like, you would never be caught dead having fucking trash rolling around in your front yard. When I was living in Richmond, Virginia, because it was a northeastern city with like totally different values and thought processes, people just thought you would walk down the street and trash would be everywhere, and people would be like, oh, it's just Richmond, it's just trash. It's like New York, it's like DC, there's just trash everywhere.
Yep.
Like, so for me, I have lived there, and then I lived in Dallas. I lived in New Mexico. I lived in Atlanta. I lived a little bit of time in Manhattan and in New Jersey. I also lived in rural North Carolina. Like, and it is so massively different.
Yeah, I mean, same for me. Like, I lived in what the fuck? I lived in Philly, Jersey, Georgia, California, Arizona, Texas, Florida. I mean, different parts of Florida. Like, that's the thing is, like, it would take an undetermined amount of time to actually understand America. And I don't think you could ever fully understand it because we're so different. Everything is so different in this country. And that's why when people talk about using policies from these homogenous countries that are the size of fucking Florida, it's like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. You know, especially when these countries have like sovereign oil funds that pay for all of their government services, or they have 44% fucking sales tax on things. And they're like, we should adopt their policies. It's like, okay, let's employ a 44% sales tax and let's pretend like you're happy. Let's pretend like you're okay with that.
One thing I discovered when I moved to Richmond, which I didn't know existed. So they have, obviously Virginia has a state tax, but they have they have their sales tax, which is like 11%.
Yep.
And then they have what's called a commercial dining tax.
Yeah, it's a VAT tax. Yeah.
It's 15%. So if you, let's say you go out and you get a pizza for your family, right? You get a $20 pizza and you want to, feed your family of 4 with this $20 pizza. By the time you get the bill, that pizza is now $32.
Yep.
No, because you have sales tax,
Yep.
which is 11%, and then you have a 15% dining tax. So all said and done, we're talking about 36% on the two. So it's 2 times 3 is 6, and then half of that is. So yeah, you're looking at about $31, and then you still have to tip. So you had a $20 pizza, and by the time you're done leaving a tip, the $20 pizza is a $40 pizza.
Yep. That's the thing though. When people, it's the funny thing when people talk about like affording to live somewhere, it's like what plays more into your affording to live is the taxes. Like, do the taxes make like livable? One
thing that blew my mind in that city is I was over here paying $40 for a $20 pizza, and I couldn't even find parking or get trash picked up off the street.
Well, yeah, because they make sure they charge, because the cities that charge the most deliver the least services.
You know what was crazy too, and where I lived in Richmond, so we had all these taxes just getting taxed out the ass constantly, and the local public schools in the area where I lived in Jackson Ward, kids had to bring their own toilet paper to school.
Ew. I can't imagine.
Public schools, kids had to come to school with their own toilet paper because the distribution of public funds was so corrupt and so mishandled that the city did not benefit from anything ever.
Nope, that's the way it works. The more a government charges, the less services they provide.
It's fucking crazy.
No, but that's the reality.
Our original topic at this point.
Oh yeah, we got way off topic. Well, like here, I'll let you get Jeep's comment. I'm going to use the bathroom, but I'm going to let you address Jeep's comment.
Go back to the Gen Z discussion. We are raising a generation of feminine men. Well, yeah, that's obvious. I mean, I don't understand how anybody is supposed to be able to identify, what they are, what their gender is, when we're constantly being forced with, I guess, I wouldn't go as far as to say propaganda, but it's more like we're constantly being forced to reevaluate that, right? Like something that wasn't in question, we're now forcing people to question. I don't really envy this generation that's growing up now, because one, they're growing up with social media, right? So I never, as a kid, had to compare myself to what other people, what their accomplishments were, what they look like every day by being on a social app. Mm-hmm. I never had to be in competition with anybody for popularity, because my popularity was organic amongst the people whom I surrounded myself with. And so to deal with all those things and then pile on top of it, things like having to ask someone's pronouns, right? Not assuming someone's gender. Like, imagine being a young man with all these hormones that are going on and all of things that a young man goes through puberty. And instead of just trying to navigate puberty as like a decent young man and be like just a good man or good boy that's respectful and like knows how to deal with this stuff, instead he's worrying about like assuming people's gender and pronouns, and if he and like, as far as to go, like, this is kind of probably like a little bit extreme, but like having to worry about if you are on a date in high school and that you have to ask a girl, can I kiss you, or not even that, or like, can I hug you, or can I this and that. Like, young men are now looking for everything to be led by the woman. That's modern feminism, is we're teaching young men that they can't do anything. They can't behave any way as a man without permission. right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I definitely think that there's a line, like, men should know when a woman isn't interested and not push that, right? I deal with a lot of men in their 30s that have not yet learned that pushing the envelope. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've been out by myself and a guy has asked if he could come back to my house and hang out with me, and I've said no. And then he has required me to say no 10 times beyond that. And I've actually had to get up and walk away and move somewhere else because he keeps pushing the subject, right? So that's one extreme. But now kids, like young men these days in their early teens and stuff, are on the opposite side of the spectrum of, like, they don't even feel like they could, like, show attention to a girl without being
Portrayed as a creep.
Exactly. Yeah, they're not allowed to sexualize women in any way whatsoever, which is totally unnatural.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
It is natural to objectify people on an evolutionary level.
Yep.
Oh, I see a hot guy. He's single. Like, of course I think about, like, what a guy might, like, be like in bed, right?
Yeah, but the problem is they still want to be able to objectify guys based upon their height and weight. It's a double standard.
Yeah, well, forgive me because this is such a touchy subject, but it's kind of similar to the whole slavery thing, where it's been over 120 years since slavery was 120 years since slavery was abolished. 1870 something? No?
About that. I mean, I think it was 1889.
Okay, so it's been, let's just call it 100 years since slavery was abolished, but we still hear people using slavery as an excuse for certain behavior and bad behaviors these days.
Something they've never experienced.
Why they deserve benefits, or why they deserve this, or why they're not treated equally when it's been over 100 years since slavery occurred. Like, and so it's this kind of the same thing when you think about it. It's the same level of extremism when you think about it. Yep. With what you just mentioned.
Yeah, but that's exactly what it is. It's just like the thing is, it wouldn't be so much hearing it from women about objectifying women and shit like that if the women weren't doing the same thing and wanted to be valid for it. You know, like, women have no problem talking about how they want a guy who's 6 foot plus.
Thick.
Yeah, no, he's a
3'6".
He's 3'6". He's got 6 figures, 6 foot, and 6 inches, right? That's what the 3'6" that women are. But those are the things that women say they're okay looking for. Women say they're okay going after a man that is 6 figures and not settling for less. Women say they're going to go after a man that's 6 foot plus and not taking a short man. Women say they want a guy that's got a big dick and they're not going to accept less. That the problem is like, that's fine. Like, we're okay. Guys are fine with that. But then you don't get to say, like, I should be able to walk up and say, I don't want a fat chick. I don't want the fat girl. Like, but again, if a guy says that, he's judgmental, he's fat phobic, he's a piece of shit, he's misogynistic. It's like, no, it's like we have what we want. Why do we have to concern ourselves with what people determine as the standards for what they want? Like, if people just if this generation would just mind their own fucking business, we would be so much better off.
You know, I'm surprised that so many people pay attention to, like, the women that are out there saying all these things that you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, it's very obvious, like, I don't know how to explain this, but it's very obvious that if you are reaching beyond what your own desirability is, that you're just projecting, you're just a joke.
But no. What are you saying? Like, if you're a 2 reaching for a 10?
Well, I don't believe in putting people on a number scale. I think that's very, very, very lacking in authenticity. Because we all know that beauty is somewhat objective, but, there's variations on what could put, I mean, I don't know. I don't believe in number rating people. I think that's so just lacking in any level of, I guess, empathy or understanding or whatever, right? Like,
I disagree a little bit because like I can honestly state and feel good about the statement that any woman over 300 pounds is not good looking.
right. Okay. And so that's probably pretty unanimous amongst most men, but there your small percentage of men who find bigger women beautiful.
Oh yeah, but here's the thing: if we wanted to find an extreme for any statement we made, we could, right? Like that's true of anything. We have to go by the consensus.
I don't abide by the rating system because I actually think that the whole number rating system is designed to make people feel less than. I think men use the number rating system to try and take away from people. Like, I just think it's degrading. I think the number rating on both sides is extremely degrading and shallow.
Well, I think the problem for me is that women try to use it as, I've seen women try to use it as an unrealistic thought process of what they look like. Like the amount of women that I see asked, the amount of women I see asked what they look like, and they say I'm a 10.
Right.
And it's like, no, you're not.
I know that you like to number rate women. I know that's something.
No, it's not a matter of number rating women. I say it that way for simplicity's sake.
But you do make a habit out of putting women on a numerological scale of.
Yes, for simplicity's sake, yes.
Right. I don't subscribe to that belief system.
I got you. You don't have to.
Never, ever, ever in my life assign a number of value to someone.
No, I don't assign it based on who they are as people because there's more than I'm talking about pure looks. Pure looks, you can assign a number value to.
Right. You assign number values to women
based upon their looks.
Right. And I just want to say, who the fuck are you to talk?
I'm the person who is in judgment of what I think of people, and I don't give a fuck if people agree with me or not.
A lot of men like
because I use an objective standard.
No, a lot of men like to use the number rating system as if it's matter of fact. And
no, it is matter of fact for me.
It's personal preference.
No, it's matter of fact for me. We can say that realistic standards.
So if you say a woman's a 6, you're confident that the rest of the world would agree with you that she's
No. But again, I'm not making the statement on behalf of the world. I'm making on the statement the fact that she's a 6 to me. And I get that. And that's what I'm trying to say is it is matter of fact for me.
That's called personal preference.
No shit, but I don't care about what anybody else thinks of her. I don't go around caring what someone else thinks of somebody. I got you.
The rating thing is it's actually fucking disgusting and shallow, and you should be embarrassed to use that.
I'm not. But, I think, again.
I know you're not, because I've heard you number rate women plenty of times. But
I got it.
It's an embarrassing thing to do.
I see it as it's an oversimplification, but I don't see a problem with it.
I think it's on a personal developmental level embarrassing.
I disagree. That's fine. We don't have to agree on it. I don't have to agree on it. Jeep asked what's going to happen on is there something happening on the 24th? What's the 24th?
Is that the primaries?
Is that elections? I honestly don't know. That's 3 days from now. I didn't know the primaries were in 3 days. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know what's happening on the 24th. I'll be honest. I have no idea what's happening on the 24th. But it's all good. So we've gotten to the point, we got so off topic that we are the only ones here.
I would assume so, yeah.
That's okay. We got to talking about some good stuff, good stuff. And we no longer have the squeaky toy in the back.
Well, that's what happens though when you don't have a lot of people who are able to join in.
Well, the problem is I'm trying to get people to join the live with us, to have a discussion with us. The problem is everyone I'm trying to message, I'm friends with on my main account.
Well, I don't know that the conversion from TikTok's going to happen as easily as you might think.
Oh, no. I'm not so worried about people in the chat. I want to have people on live with us. Like I want to get Matt Chowley, who talks about, he's all about creating a safe space for men on TikTok where they can discuss their problems. And I want to get the angry mom, who is, all about discussing the women's side of it, but all, being understanding to men as well. Like I want to have those people to discuss. The problem is the discussions I was having with them about joining us were all on my main account.
Oh, okay.
Because we don't follow each other's backup accounts. We follow each other's main accounts, and that's where we talk on. So it's such a pain in the ass of finding people. So I think I'm going to try to make sure that there are 4 of us for the next one, so that we can, hear from other people as well. Like I'm not so worried about the viewers. I'm not that worried about it. I'm more about having good discussion. Although Kenny said he might move to Florida.
I mean, it's a great place to live. I would highly recommend it. Just be prepared for shit to be expensive when you get here.
I highly recommend it to anyone who's not an asshole.
It's worth it though. Like the extra expenses are worth the quality of life.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. I mean, Florida is by far my favorite place I've ever lived. Like it really is. It's by far my favorite place I've ever lived. I met you here. That's a fucking win. But I mean, there's beaches, there's stuff to do. There's always, and even if there's nothing to do, you can still just enjoy being in Florida.
Yeah. True.
I think that's where Florida really trumps
the fact that
other
you don't
places.
have 6 months of fucking winter is a plus right off the bat.
I would like more than a day, though.
Well, you're biased because you're from the Northeast, but
No.
but November, October, December, January, about 60% of the days are not cold, but they're not hot either.
Yes, and the not hot days are the best days.
So the days when it's like 68 and sunny, it's t-shirt and shorts weather, and you never get sweaty, you never get hot. The mornings are chilly, so you still get an element of like, I can have a hot coffee and have that kind of feeling.
Yep.
And it never gets extraordinarily cold. But the best part is it is just perfect weather for like 6 months.
Yes, it's
gorgeous. In the spring, when it does actually get cold in Florida, which is mostly late January and February, I mean, it leads up to the spring, and February through April in Florida is fucking amazing.
It is.
I mean, it's semi-warm days and chilly nights for 4 months straight.
I agree.
It's gorgeous. And the sun is always shining. So it can be cold, but you never get gray. I mean, you walk outside and it could be 55 degrees outside. And so you have like a little hoodie, like a light hoodie on, but the sun is just shining as bright as you could possibly imagine. And it's very unique to the rest of the country in that way.
Florida's weather kicks ass. Yeah. But just the attitude down here is better to me. I like the attitude down here better. Just makes a lot more sense to me of the chillness of it.
Hey, I'm hungry, so I'm getting off.
Okay.
Y'all have fun.
No, I'm hopping off too.